The judge on the American X Factor just 3 weeks after getting the job.
It's been reported that producers thought the audience couldn't understand her Geordie accent, and there was concern about the chemistry between Cheryl and her fellow judge Paula Abdul.
Tonight we are going to be speaking to Simon Cowell's close friend Sunita, former X Factor star Danyl Johnson, and we'll be getting reaction from the States. But first, Julian has been looking at how Cheryl's American dream has turned into a bit of a nightmare.
Just over 2 weeks ago, this was supposed to be Cheryl Cole's big moment. Simon Cowell insisted the US would love her. TV execs branded her a style icon, someone with the whole X Factor package. And Cheryl herself was delighted to be a transatlantic talent judge.
I'm so excited to be starting, fresh, and everything's new to me, and I'm re-challenged, and nobody knows who I am. Yes, that's all exciting, but I'm sad too because I miss home.
But now we know Cheryl will be going home much sooner than she expected.
This is the X Factor.
Axed from the X Factor in America. She didn't even make it through the programme's audition stage herself. So what went wrong? This ad shows how Cheryl's style was sold to the Americans. Now it suggested Cheryl's speech may have been the problem.
Me being from a council estate and just a very lucky girl. Yes, you're absolutely right. I'm very proud of my roots.
Producers' fears about whether the US could understand that accent apparently grew during the American auditions. Others allege a lack of chemistry with fellow judge Paula Abdul, an awkwardness that was perhaps evident at the show's press launch earlier this month.
I'm learning so many new things about Simon. She's giving me ammunition, I'm giving her ammunition, we're double teaming him.
Now Nicole will replace Cole. The former Pussycat Doll was due to co-host the show with Steve Jones. The shake-ups provided plenty of celebrity reaction. Danny Minogue, Cheryl's ex-UK colleague, tweeted, "Judging roles should come with a life jacket, drop-down oxygen and a life raft." Piers Morgan wrote, "Just arrived in LA and hearing that Cheryl Cole is off the X Factor in America. Wow." But former contestant Ollie Murs was upbeat. "Really hope rumours are true and Cheryl is quitting US X Factor. She has got to come back to UK. Show needs her." This time last week in Chicago, Cheryl acknowledged the new show could be a big risk.
I hope that people embrace the Britishness and enjoy the show, but I don't know.
Now her brief stint as a judge is over, and after months of speculation, Cheryl's American adventure lasted just a few weeks.
Oh, poor Cheryl. Well, let's see what our guests make of the news. Now, Sunita, what the hell is going on?
But who said she's been axed?
Well, that's all the
Has
speculation.
anyone heard Simon say Cheryl is fired?
What do you
is
think?
going on?
Do you know what? All the reports that I'd heard was that it was going really well over there, the American show's going really well, everyone's loving it, having a great time. But it's really funny when you read what Danny's saying or what Piers is saying. It's almost like get offered a job as a judge on one of these shows and you do need a life jacket. Because it's like being in Dynasty or something, right?
Anything can happen.
Who gets to sit next to Simon? Or I'm sitting, I would like sit.
You're always sitting next to Simon.
But like the girls are fighting over him.
But Sunita, you're good friends with Simon. Have you spoken to him to get it from the horse's mouth?
The horse's mouth did not tell me that Cheryl was sacked.
And have you spoken to him recently?
He has been hard to reach, I must admit, the last few hours. But I'm not sure there really is a problem. I think somebody's taken something and run with it. Like maybe she said, "Oh, I'm feeling homesick" or something. So it might be that just her mom needs to fly out to America and spend some time with her, or some of her friends can believe her over there.
There's always Skype.
There's Skype.
That could have saved everything.
But
Skype could have saved the
I
day.
think it's amazing. Everyone's so excited. You've got people like freaking out, cussing on Twitter. This is terrible. Then you've got other people throwing parties. Cheryl's coming home, and I say, hang on just a minute, because Simon is back in the UK doing Britain's Got Talent, sorting out the finals for that this week. And I know that very, very shortly, hopefully any minute now, we're going to know exactly what's happening.
Okay.
But don't start celebrating it or buying hats.
Celebrating.
Celebrating that she's coming back.
How do you think Cheryl's feeling right now, mate?
Do you know, it's going to be a tough time, but it's happened to Louis Walsh, and he went back.
And
Remember
he came
this?
back.
Yeah.
So just because they're saying that she's gone for now, you never know.
Besides, if she comes back, that means I'm definitely not going to be a judge, right?
Oh, you're always going to be a judge.
aspect?
We need the leaves back.
You know what we need to do is find out what America thinks.
I think that's a fantastic idea, and funny you should say that, because we have got a showbiz journalist, Manoush Zomorodi, in New York for us. So Manoush, this is a huge story over here. How's it playing out over in the States?
I hate to tell you, but we still don't really know who Cheryl Cole is over here. And I mean, I have to say, Cheryl, we didn't even get to know you. I know. So honestly, it's really not been that big of a deal here. The bigger deal was that it was the American Idol finale last night. That was the bigger deal. So, you know, Cheryl, she had a lot of work to do to show us who she was. And now it sounds like we won't even get to see who she was.
Manoush, have you seen anything of her? Was the accent a problem?
You know, I think it might have been. Simon, we understand. Hugh Grant, we understand. Cheryl, I don't know. I think it could have been a big distraction for audiences. And that's what some people over here are saying, is that potentially the television executives watched her a little bit at these auditions, watched the reaction, and maybe thought, you know what? This might be too difficult for our audiences to understand.
Manoush, did you guys want to know Cheryl? I mean, were you kind of intrigued and embracing?
Honestly, you know, they're filming right now, the auditions, and the show isn't supposed to be on until the autumn. There hasn't been a big push here at all. The bigger story really was the fact that Paula Abdul and Simon were going to be back together. That was what the big story was about here. But everyone was kind of waiting to see what the show was going to be like, you know, after the summer.
But then, Sunita, do you think it's something to do with the accent then?
You know what? Except what's that girl who's on Frasier?
Yeah,
Showing my age. But you know,
Daphne.
I mean, they understand her. Is that the same accent?
That's a Mancunian accent. It's a northern
because remember, I'm American too. But I mean, I can understand Daphne.
And Steve Jones, obviously, with the regional Welsh dialect.
And they understand me in America, and I've got a strong Midlands accent.
Sorry, what? Sorry. That's a lie.
He's always picking on me, don't worry.
We'll be coming back to you later on. So the question is, what is next for Cheryl? Will she come back to Britain for an old job on the British X Factor, or will she cut all ties with the show and just move on?
She's certainly got a lot to think about over the next few days.
There's always Geordie Shore, Kate.
I don't think so. So now Katie has been looking at what Cheryl's options might be and whether you guys would like to see her back.
It was that made her one of the biggest stars in the UK. The X Factor helped turn the pop star into the nation's sweetheart. Since joining in 2008, the country was tuning in week after week to see what she was wearing, saying,
"You'll make up a tea with 2 sugars in it."
And see the banter between her and Simon.
You two, and your teeth look whiter tonight.
But now she's out of the US show, and with rumours she'll return to the UK version, do we want her back?
She's always welcome and she's always part of the X Factor. And I think she's one of the pillars. We should never let her go.
She should have stayed in the UK. She's not ready to develop to America yet.
I say you've got to try everything. Yeah, and she's tried, you know what I mean? And she might not have done well this time, but keep going. If she wants it, she'll get there.
I think she should just come home where she's appreciated a lot more.
If she came back, she would do very well. She's done before, so we'll be glad to have her again.
I think she's quite good at it, yeah. I think she's a lot of people really like her. She's a big star over there, yeah.
If Cheryl does take up her old role, it won't be the first time the judging lineup has changed last minute. Louis Walsh returned to the show after Simon Cowell dramatically dropped him in 2007, and those in the know reckon there's no shame in her returning.
I think Cheryl should come back and take over her X Factor role in this country. Of course, she has been replaced, but she's so popular, and she's sort of seen as the girl next door in the UK. I don't think there'll be any issues there. She's got a real habit of bouncing back, as she's done when her marriage hit the rocks, when she's had 1 or 2 issues. Previously, she's always been sort of the comeback kid.
With less than a week to go before the UK auditions, there's not long for her to decide whether she'll swallow her pride and come back.
Right then, Danyl, would you like to see her come back?
I think it'd probably be good to come back. Without Danny, I think we're going to really miss Danny this season. I think she's done a great job, and she won with Matt as well. And I think it's going to be quite sad if all the judges change. There's just little Louis by himself, little original.
But and if Louis going to be there,
Louis going to be there. He's got nothing else to do. I love you, Louis.
I hope Louis there, and I hope Cheryl's there, possibly.
Yeah, if Cheryl comes back, I think it's going to be great. If we've got Talisa or Kelly Rowland and we've got Gary Barlow, I think it's a great lineup.
Yeah.
those judges have not been.
They haven't been confirmed. They are the rumours.
Are you Simon's friend? Oh, you are Simon's friend.
I mean, if that is true, and they have been lined up to Lisa and Kelly Rowland.
What do you think of that as a lineup?
Well, you know what? I really liked Lisa. I'm a big fan of hers. But what do you think, Sunita? We want your view on this.
Do you know who Talisa is?
I know
who would you like to see? Cheryl, Talisa,
You don't even know who she is in this country. So I'm still trying to get over that. Sorry, what was the question?
Talisa, Kelly Rowland and Cheryl, who would you like to see as a judge?
Oh, that's not fair. Remember, you could have two, because that's two girls. I would say Kelly, and it'd be nice to have, you know, Kelly on the panel, I think, as well. I mean, Kelly and Cheryl, Kelly and Talisa.
Yeah.
You know, they'll...
Okay, Kelly and Cheryl.
There you go.
Okay. Do you think that Cheryl might have burnt her bridges with Simon, though?
No.
No. With the
They
UK
are so close. They are so close, yeah. And Simon really sort of...
Do you think Simon would be upset this is all happening now and he's let his friend down in any way?
If there's anything for him to really be upset about, yes.
Yeah. Oh, well,
but we don't know. We
it's
don't
all
actually know that it's
speculation, but
all,
yeah,
but
but
it's all
at the end of the day,
that,
as it seems, that right now is that Cheryl's not going to be doing the US X Factor, and he really wanted her to do it, so I'm assuming that he's going to be a bit disappointed.
Very disappointed, yeah.
The show is bigger than any one person there.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's even bigger than Simon. The show is the biggest thing, so that's the whole thing.
And Danyl, as a contestant, a former contestant, what would you be like now? If you were setting up these auditions, what would you be thinking now? Am I going to audition for the X Factor? Is Cheryl going to be any good anymore?
I think sometimes that we get a bit carried away with all the judges and stuff like that, and sometimes you sort of lose who the contestants are on the show. So there's already massive drama who's going to be on the panel, and not so much drama who's going to be in the show. So,
well,
you know, I just want to...
got a point for us as well, so I'm just going to go back over to New York so that Manish can... I have a question.
Okay. So my question is, could this have been a publicity stunt? Sunita, do you think that that's what it could be? Because last night was the big American Idol finale, right? We had a record 122 million viewer votes cast.
Wow.
So could this be that maybe Simon's trying to sort of build a slow burn about X Factor, get people sort of talking about it? What do you think of that?
I don't think so, because we're not really, you know, American Idol's a big thing over here as it is over there.
But
to get people talking here.
In America,
you could be doing America's Thunder with American Idol or Oprah's leaving show. You might be doing that as well.
I mean, there's so much going on.
Well, some cynical people have said on Twitter, Sunita, that perhaps Simon kind of engineered this all along, and he thought that he'd take it to America, but really he always wanted it for the UK, and it's all part of a big publicity stunt.
But that would be really mean. I don't think he would do that to her. They're very, very close. They're really, really good friends, and he's been sort of helping her a lot, and she was great for the show.
Yeah.
So I don't think he would do that to her at all.
And do you know what, guys? The public are going crazy for this as well. Thank you very much for getting in touch. You've gone in touch in your hundreds of thousands. Thank you very much. Steph on Twitter says, surely they know about her accent before signing her. I think Cheryl's been treated unfairly and must be feeling humiliated by this.
Mark on Twitter says, Cheryl should come back to the UK X Factor and win it for a third time. That would show the American X Factor who they let slip through their fingers.
Absolutely. And Dominic says, I hope she doesn't come back to the UK version. It would make it look like we were second best, which we are not.
And Logan says, instead of coming back to the British show with her tail between her legs, she should just keep her dignity and quit the X Factor for good, then pursue other projects. A Girls Aloud reunion, maybe.
Possibly. Thank you very much for getting in touch, and keep them coming as well. Thank you. And Manoush, what do you think about the chemistry between Cheryl and Paula Abdul? Is that a factor?
Well, you know, I know they don't want to ruffle feathers over there. If things aren't working for Paula, that is the most important thing. Because as I said before, the relationship between Paula and Simon is what is going to make this show. They are the reason why American Idol is the biggest show here. So, you know, if that was a problem, if things were going awry, that could be very well be a reason why they decided she wasn't going to work out.
Were the girls fighting sort of on the set over him? And...
Possibly.
Well, you know, it could happen.
Welsh Dragon Steve Jones might have something to do with this. He could have caused a bit of stir. Don't put any girls near Steve. Things can go wrong. But Danyl, do you think it's an interesting thing? Do you think it's something to do possibly with the fact that they didn't know her or something like that? Do you think it's something sinister? What do you think about Simon?
I think with Idol, they've got Jennifer Lopez, Steve Tyler doing a great job on that. I think with the new show The Voice, you've got Christina Aguilera, you've got CeeLo Green, you've got Adam Levine. I think on an American X Factor, they have to have those names to pull people in, and maybe she might have not been that name.
Do you think this is bad for Simon's judgment then in that case, Sunita?
You know what, I think he knows what he's doing. I mean, and I'm not just sticking up for him. I think that, you know, maybe Cheryl's been a bit overwhelmed, but who wouldn't be? Also, it'd be such a different atmosphere for her being there, when here, she is the nation's sweetheart. She walks into a room and everyone goes, oh my God, yeah, Cheryl, we love her. Her cheers are almost as big or bigger than Simon's sometimes. So it would be very, I think, you know,
guys,
scary.
This is fascinating, and this could go on and on and on. It is really interesting. But Manoush, thank you very much. Sunita, thank you very much. Daniel, thank you very much for coming in. Thank you very much, guys. But
we'll be back after the break with lots more celebrity news.
And we'll find out how Oprah Winfrey said goodbye.